So who is the best battery in triangle strategy? And also, what is a battery? So a battery is a unit that can give other units TP. Okay, so who is the best? So what are the criteria? I'm actually not going to go over stats because each one of these units is so drastically different in what they do as a unit aside from batterying that it's not going to really be useful to compare like health, damage, and things like this because their stats are so disjointed and they fill different roles anyways. So the categories or the things I'm going to be looking for, like the criteria, how often can they battery? So can they basically can they battery every turn? How much can they battery for? How many units can they affect? Can they battery for more than one TP? Can they battery for more than one TP each turn? What else can they do? And then, of course, it factor. So we have 7 things. Okay. So you might be surprised to see Quahaug on here. He is a battery, and I'll go over as to how he's a battery. And, all right. So how does each unit battery? So Serenoa, late game, especially New Game Plus, for 4 TP, can essentially give allies in 1 to 3 range 1 TP. So, and also plus or 5 minus height, which is useful so that if things are staggered on terrain, this can still hit them. He does not get hit by this, so he just gives everyone else around him 1 TP. This is a pretty good ability on him because he generally doesn't like waste TP or use TP. He usually just like hawk dives or shielding stance. Sometimes he will use like delaying strike, and then even like less often sweeping slash. So he has a big battery, so he obviously can't spam it every turn. Medina, she has TP Physic. Anytime she uses a healing recovery item on an ally, and this includes AoE, they get 1 TP back. She can also use this on like use a healing item on herself or get hit by her AoE heal from like ranged healing pellets to restore her TP as well. So we have that. And then for Julio, he has Moment of Truth, which can be reduced to 1 TP. He grants 1 TP to an ally and raises their strength and magic. He has Finished Them. He spends 3 TP to give an ally 2 TP at a range of 1 to 4. And then he has Inheritor. Give all of your TP, so whatever the amount, he can give 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 TP. He loses all of his whatever his current TP is, and it transfers. Generally, using Inheritor at 1 TP is like a bad idea unless you're just trying to give 1 TP at range, because not on my watch. Or I'm sorry, Moment of Truth also gives 1 TP for 1 TP, but also gives strength and magic boost. So generally, if you're at 1 TP, you're going to be Moment of Truthing, not Inheritor. Sometimes you'll use Finish Them instead of Inheritor to save TP. So like let's say you have an ally that they just need 2 TP. And Julio's at 5. He can give them 2 TP at the cost of 3, and then he'll have 2 left. So if the ally in question only needed 2, and then they're at max anyways, like then it's their turn and now they're at 5 TP. Julio doesn't burn through all of his TP to give them more than they need, and then he also conserves 2. So Finish Them isn't like completely useless like once you get Inheritor, and also it has better range. So it still has a use case for helping Julio retain some TP when he's maxed out and he's like trying to transfer 2 to 3 TP. It's generally a waste to use Inheritor on an ally who only needs 1 or 2 TP when you have, 3 plus on Julio, because then you're just burning TP for nothing. So something to consider. But he has a lot of single target TP transfers. And then Quahaug has Reverse Spacetime, which resets everyone's TP on the board, including enemies. So if you burn through everyone's TP and kill a bunch of enemies, this not only resets their position, but it resets their TP. All right, so those are the abilities. So right out of the gate, first question, how often can they battery? All of these, so by themselves, like Quahaug can't do that. He can't reverse space-time by himself every turn. But if you have Julio, which is funny because he's the battery that enables Quahaug to be an insane battery, by himself, he can't battery every turn. So the units that can would be Medina and Julio. So this is M/J. Just putting that down there. So we're going to keep track of how much they battery. All right, how much can they battery for? So Serenoa can restore 1 TP to a bunch of allies, up to whatever your team size is, because the range on his TP restore is so huge. But it's generally not going to be as spammable. Medina can restore 10 TP with double items, TP physics. She can hit herself and then do this every turn. Quahaug essentially can reset your entire team's TP. So that's pretty insane. And then Julio can only really reset a single unit. So I'm going to say this is tied for Quahaug and Medina. Because even just for a single use of reverse spacetime, resetting the entire board's TP, that's massive. That's pretty huge. And obviously, if you run him with Julio, he can infinitely do this. And, that's kind of insane. So, all right. How many units can they affect? So this is just like raw, AoE essentially. Serenoa has a big AoE. Medina can potentially hit a cluster of 5 and then throw another ranged pellet while double iteming and hit another cluster of 5. So she can hit a potential total of 10 units, restoring 10 TP. Or she can double cluster, a plus shape of units, like if they're in a plus shape. Like this sort of thing. She can restore 10 to a single group or 5 to 2 separate groups. So you're looking at 10 units affected, basically. Quahaug can affect every unit on the board, so it's going to be comparable to Medina. So I would say, and then Julio can only hit 1. So I would say this is like also tied for Quahaug and Medina, just for like raw, like number of units. Now it's true Serenoa can hit a similar amount, so I guess I could put him on here because that's like the question is just the area. It has nothing to do with the magnitude, so he could potentially hit like the whole team. Same thing with Quahaug. Okay, so can they battery for more than 1 TP? These 3 can. So this is just like, it's I guess like who's the best at doing this for battering for more than 1 TP. So it doesn't specify single target or like multiple targets. I would say Julio is the best at consistently battering for more than 1 TP. Because Medina needs to double items, she needs to be in it. Actually, no, I take that back. I would say it's Medina for sure. Medina for this one because Quahaug can, but he can't do it every turn without fail. He needs another unit to be able to do it every turn. Medina by herself can just battery for more than 1 TP every turn as long as she gets hit by her own double items and you're using ranged pellets. Can they battery for more than 1 TP each turn? This is definitely going to Medina. Actually, I guess for just the ability to battery for more than 1, I guess we have to. I think we'd have to put Quahaug and Julio because they do meet that condition. And the next question is, can they do it for more than, like, can they spam it? By themselves, these 2 can't. But by herself, Medina can. So it goes to Medina. What else can they do? So this one's kind of weird because it's going to be, like, obviously the best unit here for, like, straight up breaking the game is Quahaug. So he's going to have, I think Quahaug gets it factor. Actually, let me that's not necessarily true because Quahaug breaks the game with the help of other units. He needs Julio and he needs Medina, generally speaking, to break the game. So for it factor, I'm going to give this to Quahaug/Medina. And then for what else they can do, Medina can heal and remove conditions. She can contribute to damage by double item elemental stones. Julio can off tank and contribute to damage. Serenoa is a generalist bruiser with some utility. And then Quahaug has pretty good utility. So I think for what else they can do, it needs to be more specific. I guess it's similar to the other questions I have in my other videos where it's can they do shutdown? Can they do utility? And I have specific criteria. So I guess this is what else? Who is the best unit outside of battery? In general, probably Quahaug, to be honest, because it's really hard to say that anyone's better than him because he can break the game so easily. Now he does need like Julio to break the game, or Medina, or like some other unit to break the game with, but he can easily break the game. So I would say for what else can they do, probably goes to Quahaug. Okay, so we have, all right, let's tally up these. All right, so Medina, she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 categories, 1 or tied for. Julio has 1, 2. Serenoa has 1, so we'll just ignore him. And then Quahaug has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So if we adjusted the criteria slightly, like there's a situation in which Quahaug is a better battery, and I'll outline that too, to be fair to him. But I would say for this, who's the best battery? Like I'm sure no one's surprised that it's Medina. They might be surprised that Quahaug is the second best battery, but I'll explain why. So here's like the order. So so Medina's first, Quahaug's second, Julio's third, and then Serenoa's fourth. So the way that Quahaug batteries, it's actually very simple. You use reverse space-time and you run Julio. Yes, it does hinge on Julio, but all Julio does is resets Quahaug's TP, who then resets everyone's TP. So you have like Maxwell High Jump, you have Crinton Glacial Moon, you can set up a Sunfall if you want with Turn Accelerator, with Frederica. You physically kill enemies safely, and then you reset everyone's position, health, status effects, and TP. So this is a board TP reset. Now it's not as good and consistent as Medina, who is by herself one of the basically the best battery in the game, because she can consistently battery without the help of other units. But Quahaug and Julio combined pushes Quahaug into being the second best battery in the game, because he can board reset your unit's TP, and also reset their health. Like it does more than do that. Like it resets their position, their health, removes status effects, assuming they didn't have them before this turn. And it allows you to kill enemies, which prevents them from being reset by this, and control the enemy position, control your unit's position, control the board while killing things and nuking things and resetting everyone's TP. So he actually is the second best battery. Originally, I wasn't going to do the best battery because I was like thinking about it, and it's obvious it's just going to be Medina. But I chose to do this video because Quahaug as a battery is interesting, because it's there's essentially 4 batteries. There's like 2 actual batteries, and then Quahaug is like this like game-breaking battery. So I felt it was somewhat interesting to include him and actually mention him for once, because I tend to avoid Quahaug in general, because he's just like, I don't like breaking the game. Like when I discovered Death Ball, I'm like, this is awesome, but I'm never going to run this now type of thing. So yeah, that is my who is the best battery video. You might be surprised to see that Quahaug's in second. That's probably honestly the main reason why I even decided to make this, because it's an interesting feature of his game-breaking build, one of his game-breaking builds, that allows him to essentially become almost as good as Medina at batterying. But yeah, that's it for this one. If you like this, definitely like and subscribe. You can also drop a comment as to any other guides you would like to see. I still have to finish my stat guides. I'm still doing team builds and like team comp videos where I go over like a team comp, and then also like individual unit builds, like how a unit can fit into a team in some way that's either interesting or useful. So that's it for this video. Thanks for checking this out, and I'll see you in the next one.